Hi there, I'm Jen, this is Remembered Reads, and this is going to be the 'Tis the Season tag. This, like the pumpkin tag that I did last month, is a tag that I waited a year to get around to. I was tagged in this last year by Enthralling Dimple. I will link to her video below. And this tag was created by Richard's Book Nook, and I will link to his video below as well. And as I'm saying that, I think he's changed his channel name, so I'll have to look that up, but I will list the correct name below. On with the questions. Question number 1 is, do you have a favorite winter read? And the answer is no, because I don't usually do seasonal reads. I think I said that in the pumpkin tag. I attempted to do a seasonal read 2 years ago, and I have that book in front of me because I borrowed it from my mother, so I have it here. And I read The Walnut Tree, A Holiday Tale by Charles Todd. And normally I really enjoy Charles Todd's mysteries, but they did not do a good job on this book. And I'm saying they because it's a mother-son team. Charles Todd is not one person, they're two. And anyway, this was about a character that's a friend of one of their sleuth characters, and it was a terrible story, super predictable, and also kind of offensive in the way one of the stories ended up playing out. So if this was any key into a lot of holiday or winter themed books, I'm definitely staying away from them. So yeah, that was my one experience of picking an actual seasonal read and being disappointed. Question number 2 is, find a book with blue on the cover. And this question made me think that I should do one of those scavenger hunt type tags, because this is not my house, and so even though this one shelf and this half a shelf are my books right now, most of the books in this house are not mine, so it would be kind of fun to do one of those. But that's for another day. This is just book blue on the cover, and I did look for this ahead of time, and I found 11 plays of William Butler Yeats, and edited by A. Norman Jafaris. I'm assuming that's how you say that name. And yeah, it has a bunch of names, several of which are so Irish that I don't know how to pronounce them, but yeah, so that's not particularly seasonable, but I guess the blue will make you think of snow. Question number 3 is, find a book that you'd put on top of a Christmas tree. And I was trying to be clever and find a book that had either a star on the cover or a fairy angel, something like that, because those seem to be the 3 things that people put on their trees. And I wasn't finding anything that looked appropriate, and picked Tim O'Brien's Northern Lights, which is a kind of a depressing story about 2 brothers in Minnesota in the 70s. But the title is Northern Lights, and you put lights on a tree, so ha-ha. That was my attempt at being clever, and I don't think it really worked, but hey. Question number 4 is to pick one fictional place that would be perfect for a winter vacation. And I feel like all the fictional places I read about are terrible, because when I read about actual fictional locations, I tend to be reading something like grimdark fantasy or, you know, military science fiction, and those are all places you would never want to visit because it's horrible. But I am going on an actual holiday the first couple of weeks in January, and I'm going to Cambodia. This is not sounding happy because I believe this is a book about the genocide that happened there back in the day, but In the Shadow of the Banyan is set in Cambodia, and this is where I am going on vacation next month, so I'm gonna hold this up. I think I might be failing at this tag almost as badly as I failed on the Black Friday tag, but we're gonna keep going. Question number 5 is, pick one character that you'd take with you on your winter vacation. So I'll try to pick a real answer for this, and I think it would be fun to take one of the live ships from Robin Hobb's Live Ship Traders trilogy, with appearances in one of the later trilogies as well. No spoilers. Because I think it would be funny to be going on a cruise and having your cruise ship talking to you. So, I mean, obviously those ships are not cruise ships, they're trader ships, but you know, I think that works. That's a real answer. That is an answer that is in the spirit of the question, so there we go. Question number 6 is, name one book on your wish list this year. I don't have a lot of books on my wish list, but the one book that I someday hope to come across or have someone give me is the Absolute Authority hardcover that collects the entirety of the first 12 issues of The Authority by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch. And it looks really beautiful, and it's slipcased. I wish I'd bought it when it originally came out, because now it's out of print and unspeakably expensive. But maybe someday... My dog is barking. Question number 7 is your favorite... I don't know what's going on. Something's bothering him. Question number 7 is favorite holiday drink, treat, and movie. I like a nice peppermint tea. I don't know that that's really festive, but let's go with it. My favorite holiday treat would be gingerbread, because I do quite like gingerbread, and there's a charity that sells gingerbread cookies in a lot of the malls, and I don't know where they get them, but they're delicious, so that's a good one. And favorite holiday movie? I think it would be funny to pick something like 30 Days of Night, which is, because that's definitely a winter movie. I feel like that's the wrong answer, but a lot of people pick Die Hard as their favorite Christmas movie, so I feel like I can pick 30 Days of Night as my favorite winter movie. And it's not cheating. Okay, so this is me a couple of days later because I was editing this and realized that I didn't film an ending to this video because I didn't come back after I went to check on the dog barking. I think I did all the questions though. So I want to thank Enthralling Dimple for tagging me last year, and I apologize for taking an entire year to get back to doing this. And I'm going to tag Heidi from My Reading Life because she tagged me in a Twitter game a couple of weeks ago and I wrote up an answer and didn't tweet it out. So, oops. And I'm going to point out that I made the trip to Dollarama and bought this festive thing for $2 whole to decorate just for this video, which is a little ridiculous and I probably shouldn't have just admitted to that. Anyway, as always, if you weren't tagged in this but you'd like to be, please consider yourself tagged and let me know in the comments so that I can check out your video. That's it for now. Ciao.